Thanks a lot to Saya, to Daniela, to Carla, and Sylvia for preparing this training with quite a lot of rigor and attention to detail. I'm impressed as usual. Thanks a lot for that, for providing the venue for us to get together. I'm really sorry that we cannot organize this on-site training because we definitely need a venue where we could be able to discuss about all those things and to do exchanges as Vera suggested in order to give the best feedback for the future of EURAXESS portals. Coming back to the today's training, what we prepared is actually something that we did earlier. It's a little bit updated because it now uses what's new in this Drupal version of the portal, but also some of the other ideas that we wanted to put on the top of this exercise. We discussed a lot about the page content design, and also mostly there were many presentations from the contractor presenting how we can set up the page outline, how we can use paragraphs and components and blocks to design the page. Mostly those trainings were focused on how exactly one component or another should be prepared and what is the choice of the components we have at our disposals. I'm going to try not to repeat all those things, and I put the best effort to put something on the top and present some kind of proposal or idea for the conceptual design of the page, and also to discuss about the blocks and components from the perspective a little bit for the user, from the user perspective, while discussing and trying to highlight some of the practices, what is good and what is not so good to do with those components. The training will have a mix of like a technical and non-technical insights. I'm not fully aware about your skills and your like preferences in following up this training, so I really ask you to interrupt me anytime you feel you need some additional explanation. Since I cannot see your hands, like please feel free to jump in, to open the mic and interrupt me and ask the question. Let's try to pretend that we are all together in the room, really. Okay, this is not a question. So here is a plan. So it's going to take some time, and I hope that I will be able to complete it on time and to also cover all the bases and present everything that we plan to present. First of all, I will go through the slides and explain the content layout and blocks, and then maybe something a little bit unconventional. I would like to talk about some conceptual design of the page, and I would like to explain to you what kind of line of thought I'm normally using when preparing this conceptual design. I'm highlighting that this is only a proposal. This is something that is based on experience, consultations, but it doesn't have to be like a definite solution for how you're preparing the design of your pages at your national portal, as you may all have different preferences, different types of users, different expectations from the content you prepare. So this is not a kind of universal key to conceptual design, but only one example, which could maybe lead you to think of your own, but maybe also adopting this one that we are going to present. Then I'm going to do the demo and prepare one page. I'm going to use research comp as an example. So the idea would be like to prepare a page and research comp framework for our national portals. And in this demo, I'm going to use this conceptual design approach. And as an add-on, in order to keep some time, but also give you some of the hints how to use large language models for drafting content, I will be using ChatGPT in this case. I already prepared some of the prompts. I will show you those prompts, and I will like try to explain why I'm using those kind of formulations when communicating with the large language model. Then, hopefully, if we have some time, I will shortly present the searchable database component. You expressed in a survey a desire to see how it works, and I will be really happy to show you on the example that we have been working on in collaboration with OEAD. And finally, after again, huge thanks to George for joining this training, because as I understand, he will definitely provide some novel insights into how the page and the content is being organized in National Portal. It's going to be fully complemented to what I present. And after that, by using George's ideas and this conceptual design proposal and idea on how to use AI, you will be invited to do pretty much the same as I will going to do on the case of research comp, but you will be given the topic of resaver page. So I will be talking about this exercise a little bit later. So let's start. First of all, I will show you some of these blocks and components. I use the word pagelets because I mean, even in the portal, sometimes the terminology could be a little bit confusing for you, although it is being used properly, but sometimes you could mix between paragraphs and blocks and components. So this is why I'm using the new word. You are not obliged to use it as well. I like it a lot, so I used it in this presentation. So this pagelet as like a synonymous for those components and blocks. So the key concepts, what we basically use in creating the page is a set of different ways to present the content. And these ways are normally called paragraphs, but also blocks and components. In some cases, they are predefined. They have some structure. So each of those paragraphs has some predefined structure, meaning that in some cases you need to put the title and description. Then in other case you need to put a headline. Maybe sometimes you need to select a photo or image, and in some other cases many other information. And normally those paragraphs are stacked, one on the top of another in very simple one-column layout, meaning that when you create paragraphs, you cannot create them so they stand one next to another. You can actually, but that's another story. We are not going to go there. But basically, in 99% of our work is based on stacking those paragraphs one on the top of another. So this is the basic layout of the page we have. So knowing that, we need to decide based on the content we need to prepare. We normally need to decide which components or which pagelets or which paragraphs are going to stack and where in this order. So in doing so, we need to have in mind that basically users are reading the website from the top down. And also we need to have in mind that they're basically scanning it, that they're not going to read sequentially what is presented on this page, but what is on the top have like a much major value, should have major value for them, but then again, there has to be some conceptual connection between those paragraphs stacked one on the top of another. So what are the types of the paragraphs that we have in our disposal? You know those paragraphs, you know those components. If you work with a page, you are very familiar with those words. But for the maybe for the benefit of looking at it from with a bird's eye view a little bit, I classify them into some categories. Sometimes you have a paragraph which we can classify as content units, meaning that one content, one whole of a content is present in these paragraphs. So those are like banners or rich text component or text with feature media, call to action, feature block. Then we have other paragraph types where we have many content units inside, meaning we have content collections. For example, accordion is collection of collapsible items. You can see the accordion here at the right. Then we have carousel, collection of banners, each with image, overlay text, short message, and link button. Then we have one very interesting content collection, content row. We have listing item block, we have tab block, and tabs. All those paragraph types are used when you have more than one piece of content which you want to present within the current paragraph. Then we have some other types of paragraph, which I will not be mentioning today. Those are navigation tools, like contextual navigation, where we have number of links that helps the user navigate the page. And we have formatting tools that is a container. So let's give a short overview of all of the, I guess this list is not exhaustive, to be precise. And I will even not going to talk about all of the content blocks that were presented in the previous slide. So I selected only some of them. So rich text is something that you normally use when you want to present some explanatory text. So like when you have a major piece of content and there is no way to structure it, otherwise you use this rich text. And you want user to be presented with this without any additional clicks, yeah, like they do when they open new tabs or expand the item in accordion or something similar. But still, you need to avoid overloading pages with long, uninterrupted paragraphs. So if you have lots of text to present, separate it into more than one rich text components with the separate titles or subtitles. So use this because, again, people do not read sequentially, people scan the web pages. And of course, avoid the formatting manually. Don't use color text, don't use inconsistent headings. That's something that turns off the visitors. Banners and carousels are normally used on the landing pages. Banners present key entry points for our users, and in some cases, they direct users to some critical services. So this is what you need to keep in mind. There are not only some like indication that there is landing page, but sometimes there are call for action. So meaning that you can put a button, but you from this button you link something related to the critical service you want to provide that is being explained on this page. Then you have carousels. They highlight multiple featured opportunities and of equal importance. So this is important very to understand that when you use this, when you have these content collections, sometimes in some cases you will use content collection because you have a need to present a user with something that is being ordered. I mean, you want the user to read it in particular order. A typical example is accordion, but sometimes this order doesn't matter. And this case is carousel. This case is tab block and tabs. Normally, you should avoid multiple banners. This definitely reduces clarity, introduces confusion. But I guess this goes without saying. You should not add detailed text to banners. There should be only short messages because this block is not for explanations. And of course, please do not put some critical important information in carousels only because typically users do not interact with carousel. Accordions are very useful in my view. They use when you want to organize something, some short information, meaning that you have information which can be described by a title and a short paragraph. It's procedural, meaning that order matters. For example, you can use it in frequently asked information, which is not procedural, but it's a normal practice to use accordions for something like that. Please avoid putting long articles into each accordion paddle and don't do nested accordions. Those are the group of similar things. For me, they're basically the same pretty much, although they have different titles implying different purposes. So those paragraphs are text with feature media, call to action, and feature block. You normally use them when you have something short to explain, to present the content highlights. Later on, I will tell you about when we discuss about the conceptual design, you will realize that basically when you have some piece of content that you want to present, sometimes you will not be able to present it on one page because it's too long, it's too detailed, and you need to use the particular navigation journey in order to lead users to take users by the hand and lead them from one piece of content to another. In those cases, you will use I will use the term content teasers. So you can use some of those components to announce some of the like a larger content and then ask user to click and open another page where this larger content will be presented. And of course, this is the only way, by using call to action, is the only way to embed, not only way, but most common way to embed accordion in one block. And in this case, you would use call to action with the horizontal with the text left or right. You should avoid using overly generic stock photos. Yeah, that sucks really. Then placing too many call to actions on one page because it's too flashy, it's too pretentious. And of course, avoid too long accordions. So don't use accordions if you have really a lots of items that you want to put on and present in a list. This content row is very, very interesting with lots of potential. I don't have time to present it here, but you probably know already. I think George is going to present how they're using this component for content structuring. You use it normally when you have to structure long guidance contents into clear sequential sections or longer description of some procedural steps. It's the component in which user will be presented by the links to those pieces of content on rows that you can create within the tool, and this content will be presented on the main section of the page. Avoid too many short sections which are grouped logically, and avoid using long links or titles because they will be presented here. And if you use long titles, it will reduce readability in this case. Again, one of the content collection types, different but grouped, but because basically they can be used for fulfilling the same purpose. Free types, listing items block, tab block, and tabs. You use it when you group similar entities that do not read sequentially. You use them for teasers to full articles when you have a group of articles belonging to the same category. And you use it for presenting content that fits in categories users can switch between. For example, you want to present some initiative, and then basically you can use tabs to group information about this initiative relevant for different target groups. This is only one example when you can use tabs in this case, or tab block. You should avoid mixing content intended for different audiences. You should avoid mixing unrelated content in one list because this introduces confusion that expel user from the web page normally. Avoid using listing blocks when there are only one or two items. We are going to prepare them. Maybe you're going to use in this demo tabs component, and we are going to have 2 or 3 items, but only because we want to save some time. But otherwise, this is not very good practice. Using tabs when users must read all information sequentially, that doesn't make sense. I mean, if this is the case, then you use content row or some other component, and avoid long content inside the tabs and keep it concise. Blocks can be nested in some cases. You don't have infinite possibilities for that, but for content row component, for navigation, for in-page navigation, normally each row can be a paragraph or set of paragraphs in order to facilitate this navigation. And then you can put paragraphs in containers for the visual highlight. Then you can paragraphs in tab items, in tabs component, but not in tab block component. And as I mentioned before, call to action is the only component where you can put accordions in a graphically appealing way. So going further to conceptual page design, when you have some piece of content that you would like to present, you normally ask yourself many questions. Some of the questions are presented here. This is not exhaustive list by any means. I mean, how large is the content you have? Based on that, you may decide to put all information on one page or to use the content teasers I explained previously to link to some other page where some detailed information is presented. So having known that, how many pages you need to present this piece of content that you would like to present, what pages you will need to present. So these are the things that you think at the beginning normally. So based on the content based on the size of the actually amount of information you find useful for web visitors. You don't put information that you don't find useful information, that does not make sense for the particular target group, or information that's not actionable or that's not going to decide in any way the way how your user is going to interact with the page. So what will landing page for the content present? How the user will be motivated to open the pages other than the landing page. So those are the basic structuring questions that you normally put. Of course, this, as I mentioned, this is not exhaustive list. So let's try with this line of thought a bit. So let's try to put up a proposal that you can maybe use an inspiration or as is in structuring your pages in the future. So the page layout, normally, as I mentioned, paragraphs one on the top of another. So we are going from the top. First thing that users see is this banner thing. You're going to use it normally if this is a landing page. So to announce the content, to put maybe a link to some critical service or the thing that you want to advertise by using the content of this page, or any other important thing that you want to take users by the hand and lead to. So normally what I expect to see first on the page is what this topic or service is actually about, very shortly. I want to read who is the owner, because that will give the credibility to this topic of service. And of course, what adds to the credibility is why and how this topic or service or tool that I'm announcing was designed. So that the answer to the second two questions basically give credibility to this page, or our decision to make this page, and our decision to our finding that this page content would be relevant for our users. So you can use text with feature, media, or feature block. I mean, something that provides this content should be short, should be clear, and you should have it should have substance. So you don't just copy and paste things, but you should formulate your own message. My message would be like that. So what is this about? Who is the owner? So who is responsible for that? And or who should be credited for that? And why and how it was designed. The second thing is a purpose. So why this topic or service matters to audience, and who is actually the audience. Since there are normally many types of audience or target groups for some service that you want to present, and normally you don't want to read, you want all of them to read all the content for all of those types of audience. The good idea would be to use tab block or tabs in this case, so they can easily identify themselves with the listed or highlighted audience types, and they can click on it and go directly to the description of the purpose for them or the benefit they will get. And then we have calls to actions. So what the users should do next, how to use this service, how to approach it, what we need to fulfill the benefit promise that we mentioned in the purpose section. Normally you use call to action block, but of course you can also use other components. And at the end, there is other information, some information providing context, some other similar topics, or maybe some links to some organizations that participate in design of this topic or service that we want to present, and any other information that you find relevant for the user. So now, when you think on this, you can think of how big is going to be this section. If it's really big, because you can use multiple paragraph types for each of those content blocks, then you put blocks in a content row with in-page navigation. So normally that means that first you have to know what kind of components you will have in your page before starting to create one. So you don't start creating a page without checking first or making a plan which components are going to be there and what content they will store. Which brings us to the demo. And just as a kind of introduction, as I mentioned, we would like to introduce, for the sake of making it quicker, using AI for preparing the content. Here you can see the prompts, different prompts that I will use on different stages. So our idea is to to design the page which will be published on our national portal, which introduces Research Comp framework. So we're following this line of thought. So first of all, I'm going to skip the banner. We should put the banner, but I realize that this is more important, and in order to save time, we are going to address this like a key main structure of the page. So we're going to start with a clear description, then we're going to continue with the purpose, and then we're going to put some calls to actions. So before starting getting content from AI, you can see all the prompts here, and we are going to use them sequentially. But before asking the actual questions for the content, I will put this prompts, and I will now go to ChatGPT. You can see here. I'm using ChatGPT 5.1 model, and it's like ChatGPT Plus, so with a paid subscription. So you may expect to get some better answers with that, but feel free to experiment. I'm sure that you will get a good enough answer also with a normal subscription-free model, but also with other models, because they are always competing one after another. And currently Gemini free, version free by Google, is supposedly better, even better than this GPT or Open, I think. So as I mentioned, I'm going first with this prompt. The prompt says, this document stores information about Research Comp. In answering my questions, you will be using only information in the attached document to reduce, to improve the certainty. The answers need to be clear and concise in the form of narration written for web users. So you always put information about who will read this, the piece of content that you will try to generate, and I will be using your answer as content for the web page presenting the Research Comp. Just one missing thing is that I'm going to use this document. This is Independent Expert Report on Knowledge Ecosystems in the New Era. This is the document where Research Comp was announced. So let me upload this document here now. It takes some time, but it's going to be quick. Then we are putting this question. Okay, this is not a question, so this is only like an announcement. The first question is, what is Research Comp? Who made it and how it was made? As I mentioned before, those are the three pieces of content that I would like to present on this page. So we have this piece of answer. This is like, what is Research Comp? Then this one, this is who developed it, and this one, how it was developed as presented in this document. Normally, I would check this. We don't have time for that, but normally I would check this by like a quick searching for different info presented here. But now, as we don't have time for this, I will proceed to creating a new page. So I'm creating a basic page. Title, let's say Research Comp Demo. No need to introduce parent page. No using body, because we are going to use paragraphs. And coming back to the plan, I'm going to use text with feature media for this clear description. So adding text with feature media. So let's start with the media here. I will use the picture that I prepared previously. Let's try it with the general headings and titles. And here we go with the full text. So normally I will copy this first. One thing to consider here is that by default, these what you see is what you get editors will be with filtered HTML, and they don't give you a lot of options for formatting. This is why I'm going to switch to full HTML, because I want, for example, to use paragraph types in this case. So I like to put the questions in subtitles because it's a way to keep users engaged. I will use here some paragraph type. This is a bulleted list here. And this is it. I will avoid here using any other elements. We can take a look at preview. Yeah, this is pretty much what we want to achieve. So we have first component here explaining what is the content that we want to present, why it's important, who developed it, and how it was developed. So back to content editing. And going to the second thing, this is a purpose. So let's go with our prompt first. So what are the benefits of using research.com for different types of users for each of the target groups? Identify named benefits with short descriptions. Also, for each of the target groups, draft a short text summarizing their benefits. Why this prompt? Obviously because I want to use call to action horizontal with the accordion on the right. So the main content would be stored as like a panel for each of the types of audiences. And I will put all this in a tab. You will see this later if it's confusing now. So obviously I would like for to list those benefits in accordion and to have short description of those benefits in accordion. And for each of the target groups, I will use this short text summarizing the benefits in the main part of the call to action area panel in each of the tabs. So let's see what were we going to get. So now we are going to have a list of those audience types. We have researchers, we have employers, then we have named benefits, as I asked, and then we have a short summary of benefits for each of the users. So let's go on and continue working here. So I'm going to use here to add call to action horizontal. Sorry, my mistake, not call to action horizontal. I'm going to use tabs because first we need to have structuring of those audience types. And here the tabs are going to be audience types. So we have researchers, employers, training providers, universities, policymakers, employers outside academia, etc., etc. Obviously, we don't have time to put all of them. We are going to use to create one tab after another. And as content of the tab itself, we are going to use call to action horizontal because it has, if you remember, we are going to put here the title. it has a possibility to add accordion on the right. So in the main area, we are going to put this short summary. And on the right, we are going to put accordion with the name benefits and their descriptions. I will put only 3. So I put only 3. Let's see preview. Okay. So there is one tab that we created, and there are name benefits on the right. I will just create another tab very quickly. So this type item. Here we go. Another tab. It's for employers. And the content will be call to action horizontal. Sorry. Short summary here. Then accordion on the right. Okay, that's it. Then we can take a look at this preview. It's normal and it's expected to have problems with the response of portals when you do the training using them. So here we have another tab, again, the same structure, and you have like the page that we expected to get. And the third thing, calls to actions, we're going to use listing item block. But first of all, let's see what kind of question we are going to make. So the prompt is, are there some specific online tools and resources for using ResearchComp? Search web for additional resources. So disregard the initial instruction, which said, take a look only at the attached document. So now we want to search web for additional resources beyond those mentioned in the provided document. For each provided tool, provide a title, short paragraph describing the tool, adding also who designed it and for whom, and link to the web page within online tool. So now it's going to take some time, but not much. And which resources did the model find? So ResearchCom self-assessment tool, we know about this. EURAXESS Research Career and Resources Portal. RMComp. Community International Resources, and so on. So again, I would normally check. I'm a little bit surprised because in my previous search, I found something else. But okay, normally I would very carefully check this. But for the purpose of presentation, we are going to put those two tools here. And we are going to use listing item block here. So I'm going back to content editing here. Again, sorry for the delay, waiting for the page to open. Okay, while we wait, maybe if you have some question about what I have presented earlier, or maybe some question to Vera, it's maybe a good time to to open the floor while we wait for the page to open.
Yeah, I have a comment or a question. If I may.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
if I may, I have a question or a comment. I'm not 100% sure if it's a question or a comment because I don't know if it has any solution.
yeah,
Um,
go with it.
so we used to, like, for example, in your example, if you say, imagine you're going to do now a social media post like LinkedIn or in X and saying, oh, use research.com and you target your campaign for researchers. You don't want to put in the post, or lead the traffic to I mean, you want to all the information in your post and everything leading to researches. Um, and then obviously the final purpose of this campaign is basically bring the traffic to your webpage. But definitely what would you like is to, in this tab, for example, blog, you would like to lead your traffic to benefits for researchers. And we used to put before a link or a tag uh, just to lead, just the people could land into the tab that you wanted, like for example, for researchers or for employers, whatever. But now we are not able anymore. So, and this has, for example, in my case, has made a different way to organize the content, knowing that I cannot basically direct people to anymore to this a specific tab. So I don't know if it's gonna stay like this, or maybe we're gonna uh, bring back these results that we have, that what we used to have.
That's question to the technical team, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very technical thing, but it actually impacts on in the way that I design now the web pages, because now before I used to use a lot of tabs, to separate the messages for different audience, and now even if the content is short, sometimes what I do is web pages, like for researchers, for employers, or for EURAXESS members, knowing that when I want to uh, highlight the content for one of the targets users, I will be able to do it. In a tab content, I cannot anymore.
What do you
Yeah,
mean highlight? Sorry, Milan. I'm just trying
yeah,
to
go for
understand
it.
what the nature of the question. What are you trying to highlight in the content?
So, like for example, imagine I write a tweet, okay, saying, "Are you a researcher and you want to know the benefits of research comp?"
Mm-hmm.
Then the link that I would like to put in this tag, in this post, would be the tab benefits for researchers.
You want to pre-highlight to open the specific tab. I think we already
Exactly.
support it. I think we already support it, but you have to look at the ID of the tab you're creating. Let
How?
me
That would be
let me
great
see.
if you show us.
Let me see. I think we're supporting it. I think we're
I remember
supporting
we
it.
used to, and there was a way, and it was in the manual, but not anymore. Or at least I don't know. It could happen too.
Let
And
me
maybe
see.
if there is a way, maybe Sas, you can check it a little bit later in the QA
Yes,
section and
yes, yes,
show,
yes. I will. I will.
demonstrate how is
I
that
will.
possible. Yeah,
Yes. Let me
okay.
try to prepare something. See if I can do this.
Okay, great. So just the last one block to add, because apparently it started working, relating to this call to action where we use listing items block. Okay, apparently the same problem we have. So I don't know if we should maybe just a little bit break down this presentation. So go to the next thing, for which I do not need, at least at this stage, a connection to a portal. Or maybe we can start with George's presentation because I don't know. Yeah, sometimes works, sometimes it does not.
Sometimes the portal gets tired at times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
very.
I understand. Yeah. But again, I mean, I'm squeezing a water from the iron here, so I don't know how to proceed. Maybe, George, you have slides in your presentation
Yeah.
or okay, so maybe we could my suggestion is to continue with the George presentation and then maybe uh go back to this one. Daniela, Carla, what do you think about this?
Yes, I think it will be a good idea so we can switch to George's presentation, who will share experience with content restructuring. So I'm pleased to introduce you, George. The floor is yours.
Thanks.
So, guys, I'm coming back after George. I'm here.
Okay.
So, Milan, you have to. Perfect. Now I can start sharing. Da, da, da. So, now I have to find. There it is. So, let us go to the magic of sharing. Let's go to the start. So, I hope that everyone can see my beautiful PowerPoint presentation. My name is George Defner. I'm the portal administrator at EURAXESS Germany, for anyone who doesn't yet know me. And I will be quickly going to an overview of how we restructured a few pages on, well, most of the portal now, at EURAXESS Germany and how it came about. And because I am also a massive fan of the content row paragraph, this is also very much a love song to that paragraph where it can be introduced to so many different things. So, to the contents, we'll have a quick overview of where we started from. Again, the Drupal update of 2023, a trauma for many of us. Then the challenges with topic menus and various restructurings, um, how to how we came about to merge certain topics in order to improve the navigation within our portal, the magic of in-page navigation with the content row paragraph and how it can be used to solve various issues, and a few final considerations regarding the content row paragraph. So, our starting point. Following the update of Drupal at the start of 2023, a lot of functions disappeared, including all the menus in the national portals. Um, and one function that I still very much miss to this day is the submenu function. So before the update, in the menus, we had a menu of basically the contents living in Germany, working in Germany. And as soon as you scrolled over those, you were able to see what subpages existed in those topics. And with the update, that submenu function disappeared, which really impacted the navigation possibilities on our portal. Additionally, with the update change, we lost the ability to update menus independently of the support team. Before the update, we had a little button that we could press at the corner as portal administrators, which allowed us to change links, update any issues, and then suddenly we were completely dependent on the support team. And that also meant that the creation of substitute menus really needed to happen quickly. And so we looked for a quick solution in order to replace the menus so that our page functioned again. And so our solution in Germany was basically to concentrate on the topic areas, so living in Germany, working in Germany, and not going to the subpages, which a lot of the members did. The reason for this were three things. One, minimal menu changes were needed, so we didn't have to bother the support team too much, while 43 entities were trying to get menus back. This also allowed us to control changes to the contents without needing to contact the support team, so that any changes to the topic pages underneath we could do on our own pages without needing to revert to the support team continually to try and give them more capacity. And another challenge we have in Germany is that certain topics are repeated in different sections. So, for example, we have a section on pensions for working in Germany and also in returning to Germany. So we couldn't just have the sub pages, the topic pages in our menu without causing even more trauma to the users in the end. So this is how we basically created our solution. We have two different topic menu pages. One leads from the main information and assistance page, which leads to this page involving an accordion where you can then have the topic menus to try and find the topics that you are looking for. Each of these pages have basically an overview of how each of these pages are constructed, including a link to the page in case you want to reference anything later. The other option is directly from the living in, working in, leaving. And so basically on that case, we go directly to the living in Germany page, and then we have the options we have in the accordion on the overview page in a different style, just highlighting what the topics were there. So we have the listing item block with 3 columns, including the various topics. This isn't an ideal solution by any means, but for Germany, due to the repeated topics, it's more or less the only viable solution we've been able to have. Challenges with this. Through the lack of submenus, topics are less easily found. They're hidden. They involve extra clicks, which no user wants to, but we haven't been able to overcome that really. Due to the repeating topics in different categories, just including visas in the main top menu on our homepage isn't a viable solution for us because we have certain topics that are repeated in 2 different areas, and combining them also isn't really a good solution. We've tried, for example, the pension situation. Pensions, you're returning to Germany. What do I want to do with pensions? Or pensions. What is a German pension? There are 2 different contents with the same title, meaning just including them in the main menu doesn't make sense for us. And one thing that always was an issue in Germany and was really highlighted when we did this change, when we were forced to do this change, living in and working in Germany were very unintuitive. There are certain topics that are listed in living in a country and certain that were listed in working in that didn't necessarily make sense. And before, users were able to compensate this confusion by scrolling over and saying, oh, living in, that's the topic I need. Oh, the topic I need isn't in living in, maybe it's in working in. And that disappeared suddenly, meaning we were causing chaos. And so at one point, we were like, right, we're giving up on this division. And so we ended up restructuring living in and working in Germany to the topic coming to Germany, where everything is just continued. And then we have 3 movement related German categories. So we have coming to Germany, leaving Germany, and returning to Germany. So look at us being thematically magical. So basically, I had a look at the the topics that were included in living in and working in, and I'm old-fashioned. I like writing, and so here you have my magical sticky note sheet where I included all of our subpages and shoved them around a bit, and I color-coded them. So orange was working in Germany, yellow was living in Germany, and the blue were after I started trying to categorize the magical topics, the categories that we then established for the new landing page coming to Germany. This also meant that certain topics didn't make sense being divided. For example, visas and entry conditions and work permits never really made sense being divided in Germany. And especially with this combination, they really didn't make sense being divided. And so we also updated certain topics to combine things to make it less confusing for the users. By creating these categories, we are also able to highlight general areas of assistance that we offer with information. And this was the opportunity to also introduce some new pages and make other adjustments that we had been putting off for ages. And so in the end, we created this beautiful new landing page to replace the previous landing page with working in and living in Germany. And so here we solved the solution of the categories with the beautiful magic known as the content row paragraph, where you can include various topics and a table of contents at the left. If you look to the left of the new page, there's a topics menu where we have the categories that we created. And now we're going to have a quick look at the structure. So basically, by changing the variant of the content row paragraph to in-page navigation, we create the magical table of contents to create an overview to the otherwise not very easily navigatable and long page. Some pages have a lot of contents, but with this paragraph type, it's possible to organize it so it's still able to be overviewed by the user to begin with. You always have the ability of naming your table of contents, in this case, because this is just a landing page leading to other areas, we have topics as the name of that. Then within the content row paragraph, you have various paragraphs. Basically all paragraphs, I believe, I tried to look, but I can't say that I can confirm with 100%. Basically all paragraph types are included in the content row paragraph. So you basically create a mini page. A content collection was the beautiful term Milan used in his presentation just now. And so you create like a sub page that's just in this magical table of contents. And for this landing page, we have the listing item block paragraph in 3-column variation. The titles here, as Milan also mentioned, the shorter the title, the easier it is for navigation. And in this case, with the content row paragraph, it also means the title of the section is also the listing item in the table of contents to the left. And then the various topics below are the items that you include. Again, here, page contents, I won't go into detail there. So the benefits of this in-page navigation, it gives the ability to better organize topics, and also I found really structure my own thoughts of the contents, and I really, really like that. Clustering helps to improve navigation through pages. We have a lot of information, and it helped to kind of get rid of things that weren't necessarily necessary, and also really focus on topics and restructure things. So it was creating a kind of metacognition, thinking about the thinking within the portal itself. And one thing that I really love, and which Elisa mentioned with the tabs, this function also creates the direct link specifically to the various areas that you want, which is brilliant when you want to link things other places. So, yes, Elisa, you've
Yep.
raised your hand.
One question, but do you have so when you said that you link to it, you link to the so you link to the listing blocks, or how do you, for example, in your coming to Europe, in the navigation, how you how you do that, how you do
So in this page, I think the linking to specific sections is a lot more logical on the next example. In this
Okay.
example, it's a bit This is just to help with the overview. So in
Okay.
daily life, it doesn't necessarily make sense to link to a very specific issue. But if a researcher, for example, came and has various questions about things before arrival and getting started for a topic there, then I could directly click on that, send the direct link to that section and say, check out these 3 pages, and that helps. But in the content pages, it makes a bit more sense with the direct links.
Yeah. One question, George.
Yeah.
Did you get rid of the menu? So at your menu now, what it says? So did you get rid of the living, working, and
Exactly. So basically now, instead of living in and working in, we have coming to, leaving, and returning.
Great.
So now, another example of in-page navigation after discovering the magical joy of in-page navigation via the content row paragraph. With the restructure, we combined entry conditions and visas with work permits because in Germany, it doesn't make sense dividing them. It always caused a bit of confusion. And then the combination of the 2 topics really made it unnecessary to have a division. And so our previous page really relied on tabs, which wasn't really easy to provide information specifically to third country nationals getting in touch with us, for example, because the other nationalities tab was hidden. And as Elisa already said, directing to the other tabs was not always easy. And so that was a massive issue for us. And it kind of continually hid really important information, and there is no real easy way for users to be directed to the various sections. And so when we redesigned it, we made it all shiny with the content row paragraph. And so we now have in-page navigation instead of tabs, meaning that third country nationals are better able to find themselves in the new page. We have information about the various types of paragraphs that would be useful for researchers, which is useful so that not just third country nationals, but also supporters can get to the area of information that they really want. And so the contents are visible to the user in the menu to the left, and each topic or paragraph title can be linked directly in emails or elsewhere on the website, which really, really, really helps. And it's a function that we really missed, and this is a way of replacing that. And so here on the page construction, we can see how the content row paragraph really works. So within our content row on this page, we have 11 different paragraphs in various forms. So we have rich text. We created a banner. We use banners not a lot, but on occasion we created our own national banners. As we can see here, the graphic with the EURAXESS logo in the middle, just kind of thin divisions that we can use to break up long text blocks, simply to traumatize users less. And they are also included in this. And you can structure the content, as we can see here on this page. There are only 5 options in the content row, though there are 11 paragraphs, and you can kind of manipulate the contents by using titles or not using titles. So, a few final considerations to my love, the content row paragraph, which is a magical feature. One, combinations within the content row paragraph are possible and very, very useful. And again, you can kind of manipulate the contents menu by including or excluding various titles. And this is a magical feature. Things that I really wish I had known earlier. One, that this type of paragraph now exists because it kind of didn't exist at the very start of the Drupal change. It appeared like a month later when we had already started to restructure the website, meaning that we are now dying in work trying to reformat things using this magical paragraph. And if I had known that it existed and how to use it at the very beginning, we would have just used it to begin with, because the best part of this paragraph is if there's ever a threat that you might want to have the magical table of contents to the left, just include the content row to begin with and build your page within it, because you can turn the table of content off and on as much as you want. And on that front, for the final moment, 1 second. So you can hopefully see my web browser now. If someone, Elisa, can you nod if you can see my web browser? Yay. Thank you. So basically, here's the
No, we
users and work
cannot,
permit
George.
page.
We cannot see the browser.
Oh,
We
okay.
only see the slides.
Then 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, we cannot. Sorry.
So now we go. So hopefully now.
Yeah,
Web-
now it's
Okay,
good.
brilliant. Thank you. So here we have our coming to Germany page, and in the go away, evil thing. So chaos will now ensue. There we go. So I'll just pull that down quickly. So basically, if I go to the edit information at the moment, there's a in-page navigation is currently activated in order to have this magical content section. If I would change it to default, which I did previously because it takes a minute to switch over and I didn't want to cause a delay here in case the system crashes, as we already experienced today, and go to preview, I've already turned it off. It takes one click to get rid of that, and then you have a standard page. So if you think at any time a page you are creating might want to have a table of contents, just include it right away, because you can't just push everything back into that later. You have to recreate the entire page. And this is my word of thought. Anytime you think you may possibly want to have a magical table of contents in future, include the content row paragraph right away, because then it's just one click and not 2 hours of recreating a page. And that is all from me. Thank you.
Great, George. Thanks a lot. I mean, amazing example of how content row is can really improve things. And good point that basically you can start using it at the beginning and you don't have to have a table of content at the end. So my remark related to knowing how long the page is going to be maybe seems irrelevant a bit, because I mean, use it all the time, and then if it appears that your page is too long, you can just turn on the in-page navigation and you will have this table of content at the top.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the takeaways that I really wish that if we had known about the magical paragraphs that were coming at the beginning, that would have made such a massive difference now, because I'm still restructuring the pages and it's still slightly killing my soul on occasion, copying everything over.
Great. Let's continue. Let's continue the previous exercise. I will not. Okay.
Milan,
Yeah.
just one comment, just for the, especially for the support team, because as George is mentioning, I am also now using in-page navigation, and like I said, whenever I create a new page, I just put it by default, and let's see if I use it later, because as George is saying, what I experience now trying to change everything into this in-page navigation, unfortunately, we cannot copy contents, with the paragraphs and put it into these. And I don't know if it would be possible, just asking for the support team, because that will basically save us so much time, because the content is going to be the same. The only thing is we're going to put an in-page navigation to make navigation for the user much, much, much easier. So that's kind of a strong suggestion for the support team to maybe figure it out something so we can copy and paste. I'm not an expert in Drupal, and all these content paragraphs, but if it's possible, that will be very, very helpful, definitely.
Good. Okay, we will get the feedback from the net company, I guess, also about that, hopefully. But before that, I will just shortly demonstrate what we have been promised to show, this use of online database. I'm going to stop with the exercise. I'm not to create this. I'm not going to create this last component because I obviously still have some problem with accessibility. It's still very slow. It opens at the time, but it takes a lot of time to create it. And a service of getting with the end of program on time, I will just like to show you one last thing on how we make possible to also show within the page in Drupal how to show some of the structured data that is normally created in tables. As you can see here, there is one example of the table that we got from Verena from OEAD. This is a table with socio-cultural integration support programs here, and idea was to create a page that will be making this table a little bit readable with individual data better accessible. So normally when we do this, we vibe coded something that will make this possible. I will show it at the end. But normally when we want to use the like a tabled data or structured data as a content, we would need some kind of list display as you get when you search, for example, something, but also some detailed overview of particular information stored in individual rows. For that, we also need to know in advance what kind of data is each of those cells and what is the meaning of those columns, what they mean, and whether we are going to use some of the data in those columns as context for searching or filtering display of some particular rows that we would like to search for. So that sounds complicated, but actually it was something that we did at the end. I will show you the result at the end, just in case I open the completed page now. So we're not going to wait for the demo if the page is not responsive again. But I will show you a little bit of a process how we do that. I'm not asking you to do the same, because it depends on some particular tool that we developed and currently only us can use it. But I just wanted to show the logic behind it and also to motivate you and to inspire your thinking of the content or the similar content, the table structure that you have and you would like to present on your national portal page. So as I mentioned, we start with that, but normally we then transform this information in comma-separated value files, which is pretty much the same as Excel with some pre-processing that we do. For example, if one cell stores multiple information based on which we want to do some filtering, we do some pre-processing by dividing this information with the semicolons within the specific cell, because the tool expects that, but also because this is a normal practice in structuring this kind of information when you have multiple information items that you would like to store in one cell. So if we prepare that, and we also think about which columns are going to be presented where. And then we open this tool. I will show you how it does look. This is the one. I will put just a short title here and then some description. You have some even HTML editor here. And the main thing is that I upload the CSV file that I previously prepared for information, and then I go through the different columns. First column stores the name of activity. For me, this is important, the most important, hence I will call it identifier. What kind of data it stores short text, and I'm being asked whether I'm going to show this information in list view and in summary view. You will see later what is what. So I want it in both. Then the second one is short description. It's not identifier. I'm not going to enable to search based on it. It's long text. I'm going to present it both in list and summary view. Then type of activity. This is important, as if you remember, this column can store multiple values. This is why I select this multi-select links. I want to make it searchable because I want to use them enable to filter based on the type of specific activity for different data, and I will show it both in list and summary view. Then whether it's singular or recurring activity, it's either one or the first or second, so it's a normal list. It's not searchable. I'm not going to provide it in list view, only in summary. Target group, there could be multiple target groups for individual activities, so it's multi-select list. I want to user be capable to search on it, and I will show it only in summary view. Then the cost activities is normal list. Let's say it's not searchable. It's showing summary. That again, similar personal effort to require, only in summary. Establishing year, it's a short text, only in summary. And the website, it's URL, and it's only in summary. So I created all the data, and based on this information, I will click on this button to generate something called JSON file, and I will say it here. And this JSON file store the same data, but in some different form. I will show you how it looks. So this is now this table. It does look like a lot of data, but it's very small file. It cannot compare to big photos or images or stock photos that you're often using. So I'm saying that just to say that, to highlight that you will not engage a lot of computational resources, or it will not take a long time to load this kind of page. So why I need this? Because I will now copy to clipboard all of this data, and I will open the script, which was like a generic script for made for this purpose. And I will just copy the content of this JSON file here. This is a technical part, but I'm just showing that to show you how easy it is, but also something definitely that you can do by yourself. And now, when I copied this data part, all the code will remain the same for any data. So you don't have to change anything more. You just take all this code, and then you create a basic page on it. You don't use paragraphs here. You will use body here. So you remember, you either use body or paragraphs. In our case, because we have this special case, we'll put this. And you activate this source part, because this is a source thing. It's not the content, it's code. It doesn't make any sense here, but when you open the preview, let's see if it's going to work now. If not, I have a plan B, don't worry. Oh, it works. Excellent. So here is a completely new page, which is generated only based on the data that was stored in this initial Excel file, and based on choices that we made when we browse through the different columns. And here, if you remember, there were type of activity and target group as are two searchable columns. And then below you have list view. Remember, there was a list and summary view. Here you have like name of activity, short description, and type of activity. And you can see those semicolons are replaced with commas. When you click on each of those, you will get a summary view now. So now you will see all the fields that have been selected to be presented in the summary view with the URL available here. If you want, you can use this scheme to search for different things. For example, there are 4 different instances or activities that match the criteria that we defined, meaning type of activities, administrative and legal support, and target group are international researchers and their families. You can expand that here. And this is like a key strength of this tool, because you can filter all this data. There is lots of data. I don't remember how many rows, but basically you can create quite a big tables up to maybe, I don't know, 200, 300 rows, depending on how much content you have in individual columns. And that's it. This is how it looks at the end. As you can see, it took quite a few minutes to create something from the prepared comma-separated value from the Excel file, which is not a lot of work. So that ends this first part, and the second part. Thank you, Joe, for jumping in and saving us time. So, and of course, by providing this wonderfully inspired presentation of how we can use in-page navigation to improve the accessibility to the content. Now, coming back to you, Daniela.
I have a question, Milan.
Yeah, of course.
Regarding the database, because you said you have to insert it in the body. So that means you cannot embed it into a web page.
Yeah, it was embedded in the web page, but you just use, you cannot embed it in the page where you also have paragraphs.
No, okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not
But
possible.
it doesn't make sense, and it's very it's a very specific thing to do. So I don't see the reason to have also some other content on that page. Maybe it's better idea to create some content teaser by using feature block or something like that, leading to that page, and then to have this page only for data, because it can be quite a long one if you have many rows in the table.
Yeah, definitely. And you will, if we want to do this, you just basically provide us with a code for the script, and then we just have to create the database, I guess.
You just
JSON thingy.
No, you don't have to create a JSON. If you want to do it by yourself, you need to have this tool. I'm not sure that I can distribute it. I can execute it on my laptop, but I'm not sure that I can distribute it. But I showed you just to demonstrate what kind of information we need in advance in order to make this page from existing Excel file. So whether it is searchable field, whether it's available in a list view or summary view, and this kind of things. So it's quite easy when you make this, and when you have Excel file, it's going to be very, very easy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Jean-Francois, if you want, I can share the code with you, of course. Do you want maybe, to clarify your question, what kind of code? The thing that I pasted in the portal, or what?
No. You paste the JSON code into an HTML
Yes.
file, right? Yeah, that file.
Okay, I can share with you. You can, I can share that with you after the training. I can share with anyone, but please handle with care, because it's going to come with this predefined data to use in a demo example. And please do not change the code itself. Just if you want to put something in it, just replay the JSON part and nothing more.
Maybe I have a question, if I may. So if we identify a content that we would like to present as a searchable database, even at on a national portal, not related to the whole EURAXESS network, so we should maybe pre-prepare the Excel file, and could we send it to you? So for extracting preparing the Excel the code, and then we just simply put it into our national portal, and the database should be working, right? So the content doesn't have to be appearing on the Serbian portal, but also on our national portals, right? It should be like
absolutely, as long as it's on EURAXESS national portals. Why? Because it's not dependent on the things that are there, but it's developed with having in mind that it's a Drupal platform. So you mentioned you mentioned that you would like to use it outside of EURAXESS. I would not recommend it.
No,
Okay.
it's just not that it's not the European content for all the EURAXESS for the
Yeah.
whole network, but country specific content. So can we also approach you for designing this HTML code for us on behalf of our national networks, right? Content.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's very easy, as you mentioned. As long as you provide this information, which I highlighted, so searchable or not, it would be nice if you already have those when you have multi-list information in one particular cell to separate it by semicolon, not by a line break or something like that. I mean, we can do it as well, but if there is a lots of information that may be messy, and to highlight if some particular field or column is displayed on the list view and in summary view or both. As
Maybe.
simple as that.
And maybe I didn't get it right. What is the summary and what is the full view?
Let me show you. So this is list view, meaning that you have multiple rows, multiple activities presented in one view on a page. But when you click here, you have this is summary view, meaning that more information is here. You cannot put all this information in a list view because the page will be overloaded with many different information. Normally, what you do is put some initial things, most important, or the most relevant for user to decide whether this is relevant activity for him, her, or not. And then he or she would click on it to see the details and get this summary. So this is summary.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You had a question about how I compiled the resource file I uploaded to JetGPT. I did not compile it. It's it was compiled by the network, by the independent experts for the European Commission. And this is this one.
But in general, it's recommended to work with a file, not the website, right? Like
No, you can do with website, but my recommendation is to go with the file, because with the file you have all information available there. If you provide the website, that means that the bot needs to crawl this website for all the content, and that can get messy, because websites can be huge on one hand, but also the agent could also go outside because of the external links. And this was convenient, I mean, to get, because basically everything, all these answers are in this one publication. I'm not saying that it's going to be that easy for each of the topics, but the first effort should be to find one place or one document with all information you need to have in order for the agent to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Daniela, are you able to transform data in any kind of table? Yes. Yeah, I've already answered that. Daria, GitHub, I don't know, maybe that's too heavy, but we could create, if there is there is a will, there is a way. And if there is interest, if there are some other people that would like to join this, like a dev initiative, I would be more than happy to create EURAXESS GitHub page and then to put all those essences there. But it's a technical thing. I mean, if anyone is interested in doing that in the future in a collaborative way, I mean, when I say that, I mean more technical things, I'm really interested in, I will respond to that. Daniela, the floor is yours at the moment.
Thank you, Milan, and thank you, George, for your insightful presentations. But Milan, I will now hand over to you again, because what we have next on our agenda is the introduction of the activity, and we're just right on time.
Okay, I thought there are going to be questions, QA now, but okay. So maybe, I mean, because there are some QA session there, I asked everybody to provide the questions while we were talking, but maybe this is a good time to ask again if there are some other questions to me, Vera, or George.
I think we answered all questions in the
Okay.
chat, but yes,
I
we
don't see
can.
anything in the chat. Okay. So going back to the to my presentation, and this was like the part with uh, this line of thought in creating the page. You can use it in your exercise, or you don't have to use it. It's just like a example of the skeleton of the thinking that you could use to control the page creation and to use that to make this conceptual design. So the idea here for the exercise is quite simple. You use this or any other conceptual design or mental scheme to create a resaver page for your national portal. And then after that, we can hopefully have a lively discussion about the solutions you propose. It doesn't have to be like a big one. It doesn't have to have thousands of paragraphs. It could have only few. But we would definitely like to hear about your uh, view to this, how to structure issue of how to structure the content, and also which component to use to visualize or highlight some particular type of content. And in doing so, we need to have an example. And I suggest, because I don't think that many, if any, national portals have information about the resaver, so to use this topic. Of course, we would be there available to you all the time for the sake of like for the more convenient work. I will paste this slide in the chat so you can use it as a guideline so we can turn the screen sharing off while you are doing the exercise. So,
Thank you.
Daniela, can you help me with the timing? How much time we have available?
We have from 12:05 until 12:45 there is a lunch break, and then there is individual work on this task until 1:30. And then we meet at 1:30 for feedback from individual work. I have shared, I may reshare the today's agenda in the chat. We have one from the morning, but we are right on time. So yes, we will be available here for any questions after the lunch break. And maybe I can also ask you now about this activity. Would you suggest us to use ChatGPT or maybe some other tool when giving the prompts, or it is?
However you feel confident. I mean, if
Okay.
you would like to experiment, this is not the page that we're going to publish. So I would go with that because it's going to provide the content quite quick, but again, this is only exercise for the content.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Milan, for all the information and for this activity. Okay, so enjoy your lunch and we will meet at 1:45. I mean, you can start the activity on an individual basis. Okay.
If I may jump in, I mean, you can ask the questions in chat, so I will be there. If possible, I can respond quickly on the answer, so I can assist you in the exercise.
Yeah, so the agenda is shared already in the chat, but I will reshare it, of course. Okay. Enjoy your lunch. Okay, is the recording resumed? Maybe I can ask Milan whether he would like to hand over to you so you can facilitate maybe the Q&A session here. We can see how our colleagues managed with this task.
Yeah, thank you, Daniela. In general, it would be great to hear from you. I mean, in the ideal case, it would be great if you could present what you have created. As I mentioned, it doesn't matter if you created one or two or three components or whatever, just how this experience fits normally in what would you normally do when creating content on the national portal, whether it was easier or more difficult. Would you think that this approach is flawed, and why? Would you think if it's good for you, and why? I mean, any kind of feedback, any kind of experience you may have with creation of this page would be deeply appreciated. So in overall, the floor is yours. I mean, if anyone wants to take over, either by providing comments or showing what you have created, now's the time. Verena, the floor is yours.
Hi, I hope, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, I can just share what I did.
Wonderful.
And what I always face difficulties with. Sorry, I'm just now oh, sorry, I have it. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just it's the first time I use this in, how do you call it? When you
Content
have
row.
yeah, thank you. The content row where you have the menu on the left page, and I find it really useful. And I just made a short page about yeah, what is Resaver? Just a short landing page. And what I always face difficulties, or what I have difficulties with, is this the image banner, because as you can see, I just used a photo I have in the backend, and I'm used to work with Typo 3 in the past, and there you can always crop the images. And we do not have any any chance to crop the image. I have to adjust it before, and then I have to upload it, and then I can use it. So that's I know it's I think it's not possible with Drupal.
Yeah, I have the same problem. Yeah, I totally agree with you that cropping would be great to have, because you cannot, it's more difficult to do this outside of this platform. And also one other thing is to kind of control the size of the image, not in this case, not for the banners, but for example, in featured block and these kind of things. Because I mean, sometimes it's difficult to anticipate, especially when you have to align the height of the image with the content on the left or on the right. It's always difficult, and cropping feature would be great to have.
Yeah.
Savasvera, I mean, whenever you want to jump in and maybe provide additional explanation, clarification, or whatever, it would be again appreciated. Verena, other insights?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to show you, because just another page when it comes to pictures, I find it quite, I mean, as you can see here, the picture on the right, it has this size, and then it has this size, and it's, yeah, it's not a similar size, and I can't crop it. And I think it makes it it doesn't look quite good from my perspective. So yeah, so image resizing option would be really great to have it.
But if I may, I think in the manual there is the sizes that you can use for images, and for example, what we do is we use Canva, so we always use the same amount. I mean, the same size. For example, banners, I always use pixels, the dimensions. And for call to action images, I always use the same. For listing blockings in highlight, for the primary thumbnails, I always use the same. So I have a list and I always use the same size. So like I agree with you, so that everything looks more homogeneous.
Yeah, I mean, we do it. I do it also. I always adjust it in Canva beforehand. But on the other hand, it would be great if you have just one picture and you can just, take a small, how to say, just to use not the whole picture, because in Typo-Try you can just resize it. You can upload a picture and you can use it multiple times on the website, and you know what I mean. You can just use this a part of the picture, and for another content you can use the other part. So that would be great. So, but I understand if it's not possible, I always do it in Canva for the banners. But yeah, if I have time, it would be great.
Basically, if I may jump in.
So I just stop my screen. Sorry, sorry.
Actually, to be honest, there are specific sizes for different components. And in the next release, we also included this in the help section under the image, so you can know what size of image you should upload. Unfortunately, resizing is not possible for a component at the moment. Maybe for future development, it will be.
Great.
But at the
Thank you.
moment, we're going to have the specific dimensions under the images that you're going to use, so you don't have any issue.
But Salas, it's not resizing of the components; it's resizing of the images.
Yes, but the images in the components, there are different images inside the components.
Okay. Because I mean, one thing is to have a typical size for the like a recommended size for the for the image or for the photo, but if I have a component in which I have a shorter text, then I need a image in the form of rectangle with a horizontal orientation. I mean, it's then if I have a longer text, it can be like a square or different kind of shape. So it doesn't go always good with this alignment with the size of text.
I know you might have a short text and a very, very large image.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The components are prefixed already, so you have specific dimensions for the component, the image component that you use.
So you say that cannot be fixed.
At the moment, not. At the moment, no. It's out of the box components from Open Europa modules we're using. That's going to be needed an extra development for this one for the next year. We're doing the upgrade of the Open Europa theme in our site. Maybe this we're going to fix it. We're going to see and come back to you later.
Yeah, okay, good to know. But in general, Salas, because you're saying that there's going to be another revamp next year. So is there somehow a way for us to collect all the things and the ideas that we would like to have there, so at least they are considered next time when this revamp is being done?
The revamp is not actually adding new components, it's actually upgrading the components that Open Europa provides. We're not creating, but if you can, yes, we can have an idea and we can see how we can adapt it, if we can adapt it in a specific component provided by the European Commission modules.
Okay, so it may be a good idea to have some central place where we collect all the ideas and suggestions for improvement. It's not necessarily have to be related to components or maybe some other things, so we know that this is kind of things that we would like to have.
New components, yes. Maybe, yes, why not? But playing with existing components that the European Commission provides is a bit difficult because we have difficulties in updating. I mean, in every update is going to be overlooked, is override anything that we do. We don't change components provided by the European Commission and by the ECL modules. We created our own. So maybe you can send us any more suggestions or anything that you want to fix. Maybe we'll consider creating components ourselves in order to assist.
Okay, Savas, thank you. Thank you, Verena. Thank you, Lisa, for the intervention. Is there someone else who would like to share the experience in creating the page? As I mentioned, it doesn't have to be the demo of the page, just anything that you find, any feedback that you may provide, starting from using AI tools for generating content to using components.
We have, in the meantime, one question in the chat regarding the instructions for portal administrators that are newcomers.
So where is the help section? Yeah, I mentioned that in the private chat. I'm new to the portal. How to link into the main navigation menu. So I will find the link to the help.
In the meantime, I can mention something that occurred to me when making my practice page.
Yeah, please.
When I started working on the platform, and also this time, I always was a bit confused when I should create a new page with information topic and when I should just use a general page. I would be really interested to know how many people thought that this should be an information topic where a banner automatically appears, and how many people created a general page, because that also impacts the kind of similarity of our portals. That was the reason for having the information pages to begin with, the content pages.
If I may, George, to your question, I straightforward created a basic page, not a topic. And the criteria that I follow to do that is because topics are indexed at the end when you search for information. So from our national portals and also from the European portal. And then one of the main topics there is pension. So, and definitely this is only for supplementary pension, so occupational pension. And the main content in this topic for pension is usually the state pension. What I would do if I, for example, now I create a page that I like and whatever, what I would do is to link this page to the information as an add-on information for my topic page for pension, which its main focus is state pension. But then, of course, if you want to give general information about supplementary pension or occupational pension, you can just add again information depending on your country, if you have many occupational pension systems, or you can add also the link to this page, But the main criteria that I follow is not for aesthetic purposes, because it's indexed in the search for information from the European portal.
But exactly for that reason, because if we're creating a national page about this topic, which also appears at a European level, then the question is, why shouldn't it necessarily be indexed? Like, I agree, I had the same thought, but then at the same time, I was like, perhaps this is general enough because I select the category pensions, it works. Multiple pages can have the same category. Perhaps it should be indexed, and then I was conflicted.
My opinion, the index pages is that you said multiple pages can be indexed as topics for the same theme as pensions. But in my opinion, I think this is very confusing for the user.
But you're saying, when you say indexed, you mean like it appears, it appears in search on European portal.
Yeah.
I mean, but the answer to this question is basically how often people use this tool. I mean, to access the information systems page on national portal. So it would be good if Vera is here. I mean, not now, obviously, but it would be great really to know how much of a traffic we bring from the European portal to national portals. Even though we should be able to see that in our analytics. So yeah, we don't need the European Commission for that. We should see that. We should be able.
Yeah, but I guess after we have Choose Europe initiative, and within Choose Europe initiative, actually, I think if I'm correct, I mean, I need to check, but I think there is a more direct link, because maybe it is true that through the menu and how the structure of the portal maybe was not so straightforward. You know, but even though things could change depending on the promotion that you give to these topic pages. Especially with the Choose Europe initiative, then it can hide. But you're right. We need data to know the traffic to these pages and how worth it is to reshape everything.
But do you have access to your analytics page? I mean,
Yes.
And
yes,
do you check it
not
often?
the topics yet. Yeah, often yes, but this page is not so much anymore, because some of us are very unupdated. We are updating it little by little because it's a lot of topics, you know. So to update this, it takes ages.
Yeah.
So and what we do also, so when we update any one of these topics, obviously we promote it in LinkedIn and you know, to highlight it. So it will be I will need a little bit longer to see how effective is this, if the traffic is going or not. But yeah, definitely we should check.
Speaking about linking, Savas, did you have a chance maybe to have a look at this Elisa's questions related to linking to the tabs content?
Yes, I did. It works actually. It needs to be very, very careful of what is copying. That may be a mistake.
I don't know about the others, but I couldn't hear well.
Sorry, can you hear me again?
Can you hear me now?
Now it's better.
Sorry, yes, I'm sorry, from my microphone was off.
No worries.
All right, let me demonstrate. How can I take the share of my screen?
I don't know if you can share the screen.
Let
Daniela?
me try.
Yes, everybody should be able.
Okay.
The option should be at the bottom and
Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, let me see. How can I move this bar? Okay. 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, I'm logged in as a national site editor. Have an example page here and basic, another. I can move this, okay. All right. Here is a basic page, let's say from the Ireland portal, from the Irish portal. We have content and we've got the tabs as Eliza mentioned. From what I understood, Eliza, you wanted to move directly to tab item 4 from another page. So basically when clicking this link, you're going to be moved to tab 4,
yes,
like this.
Yep.
Okay, the way to do that is every tab item has an ID. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of a technical things here. You just need to right click. Let's say that I want to move to tab 3. You need to inspect the element. And if you see down here, there's the data tab target. All you need to do is copy this. And let me open this page that I want to navigate from. Oh, come on. This one. Edit. Okay. Now let me add another link. All I need is to use the link of the page and then create an anchor. The pound symbol is just creating an anchor to the item you want to create. Add the ID of the item here. Let's say tab 3. Insert. Set the content. Get rid of these pages. Now if I navigate Oh, come on.
It's working. It's okay.
It's working, yes. It's tab item 3.
Oh my God, you open a whole world now for me.
It is the same. It's easier actually to navigate to a specific heading within the page. If you, if you open this in a new tab, right click, open this in a new tab. If you see, it auto generates the anchor link for the heading directly. Now you can copy this one. Let me edit again this page. Let's say new link, navigate to specific page heading. Insert the link, save. Now clicking this is going to jump directly to the paragraph you want.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
No problem. No problem.
And no more linking with these node things?
Actually, the node internally is translated to an alias. Every time you create a page, it automatically creates an alias.
Yeah, this is why we use node, and now you have used alias.
I use the alias, yes.
If alias change, then it would be a problem.
Correct.
But, okay,
yes.
That doesn't happen a lot. Yeah.
I think you can also use the node as well. Let me try actually.
Yeah, because this is what Andrea asked actually,
Yes.
how to link it with properly.
Let me try again with the node. But keep in mind that alias and node is directly related. There's only going to be one alias per node. So it's unique as the node is. Let me see. This is the page.
So just to add to Andrea, I mean, you have to open it in the edit mode, and then to copy just this part node, and after node there is a number. Yes.
Okay, let's see. So instead of using the alias, I think you should be able to use node ID. But again, keep it relative.
But let's try, okay.
Yeah. Let's save this.
Relative means that you do not put the whole URL, but only
Correct.
this part node and the number after it.
Correct. Let me see if this works. I think it will. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay.
It does.
Okay, George has a comment that some of the nodes from the past suddenly led to surprise pages.
Yes, we had a lot of node links in the past, and after one update, suddenly our node links led to surprise pages. We had one job advert in Poland, which was technically a link to our visa page. And so we continually had to start checking all the links on our page regularly to make sure that no more surprises started appearing. So I'm now a bit terrified of the node links, to be honest.
Basically, George, you need to contact the support team to have a look at what pages have been created, because also we're changing content and we're deleting content from the site. But we're not deleting national portal content, we're only deleting European content. Are you talking?
No, it was a link within the German portal, and the node suddenly led to a job advert at the Commission site. It was it was about 7 or 8 months ago, and then there were 4 or 5 cases where the links started to just suddenly send us to very strange pages, and so we've now avoided sending node links into our portal.
Maybe you can give us an example to investigate. I cannot tell you from.
If we find another one, I will.
Please let us know. Please let us know, George, to investigate.
And Carla is asking, will the link checker be restored anytime soon?
No, because it's a very, very performant task. We need to do it definitely in our development environments and in acceptance, not in production. Because the link taker is checking every single link.
Okay, fine. Okay, guys, thanks a lot, especially to Verena for sharing her work. I'm very happy for Elisa having so many opportunities to work on her new portal now after this insight. And thanks again for, I hope that it's going to be useful for you in the future.